boy, I was tormented by this question. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, you could.
People of Earth is a sci-fi comedy on Hulu.
People of Earth was about reptilians. No. It was about grays. No. It was about whites. Stop. You're all right.
People of Earth was a glimpse into the life of experiencers.
Yes, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast, the podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to.
We do it for you.
Yeah, we're givers. Today, of course, we are reviewing People of Earth, episode 1, entitled Pilot. With us, as always, he's not an experiencer, he's an experience-e. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg.
I'm the one that gives you the experiences, and then you become an experiencer of my experiences.
Right. Now, we're also joined today by actress, artist, storyteller, entrepreneur, wearer of many hats, Malissa Longo.
Hi.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, and if you want us to review a show, just be careful because we're excellent reviewers. So just say WTF and the show in the comments below. WTF stands for Watch the First. So you could say WTF, Three's a Crowd, or WTF, The Good Place.
Is that like a sequel to Three's Company or something?
Yeah, it was in the 80s. Or WTF, what was that sci-fi show we were talking about, Michael? Another Life. WTF, Another Life.
Another Life. Yeah. Or Last Man on Earth.
Yeah. All good suggestions. And then we might review it. But do it in the comments below so that it's there forever, not just in the live chat. Give this video a like. Make sure to subscribe and tell your friends. And let's have some fun.
Are you ready to rumble?
The sun in my eyes. Yeah, I'm very ready. Well, are you ready though, Melissa?
I'm ready.
To rumble? Yeah.
Well, then we are going to start with my favorite game. Michael likes to call it
predicaments.
Right. They're juicy. They're flavorful. Michael and I have known each other for a long time. So we can usually predict if the other person watched it, assuming
like 50,
that
50 years we've known each other.
Right.
Wow.
Past lives. It was like when he wouldn't let me onto that lifeboat when the Titanic sunk. I was pissed.
Oh,
I know.
how could you?
I know. I was like, there's enough.
There wasn't room.
But you know what? It's an old argument.
I had to save the dog.
About it. You know how I feel about it.
You were wronged.
Yeah. So we can usually predict if the other person liked the show or didn't like it or how they felt. So we're going to get started right now. Make your predictions in the live chat or in the comments below as well. Michael, I predict you like this show because you like to laugh. You like alien stuff moderately, as long as it makes you laugh or is good. I think the acting may have made you giggle. So I'm going to say overall, you like this show somewhere in the realm of a 7-ish type thing, and that you would moderately be willing to watch more of it. And Melissa, I think actually just about the same with you. Almost across the board, same prediction for you. But what do you think, Michael?
I think that Ryan did not care for this show. I think that he likes to laugh, but he did not find the humor funny in this show. So he did not laugh much at this show. And Melissa, I think she did like it because she also likes to laugh. And I think she did laugh at some of this show. So
She muted her laugh right there. We were waiting to hear her laugh, and she's like, "You don't get to hear it."
Not yet.
There it is. Melissa, what are your predictions today?
I predict that that Michael probably enjoyed the quirkiness of the show and the quirkiness of the humor. I don't have a score guess, but yeah.
I never
But-
do score guesses. Ryan always tries to like nail the score. but,
Sometimes,
like,
only sometimes. You know?
I'm just like, you like it or you don't like it. So.
You go by how you feel, Melissa. No pressure.
and I
What
think,
score do you predict?
and I think Ryan was probably lukewarm about it. Some of it maybe gave him a little bit of a chuckle, like he may have found it mildly humorous, but I think his reaction is probably a little bit more lukewarm. And then I predict that just kidding.
No, I kind of want to change my prediction. Melissa feels like she's projecting a little bit. We'll see. We'll see.
Really?
All right. So everybody at
Hmm.
home, you've gotten a lot of hints. Now it's time for your predictions. Do you think I liked it? Do you think Michael liked it? Melissa liked it? Give us your reasoning. Predict numbers if you want. Predict colors if you want. It doesn't matter. Make your predictions. Michael's going to buy you a little bit of time by telling you what this show is even about.
Journalist Ozzie Graham is skeptical when he investigates a support group for oddballs who think they have been abducted by aliens. Yet the more he learns, the more confused, intrigued, and seduced he becomes. In this episode, Ozzie Graham arrives in Beacon, New York, and joins an alien abduction support group called Star-Crossed. Abductions are considered experiences, and each member has had an experience by a gray or a reptilian.
No whites then, huh?
That's just what it says on IMDb. There was one person who had an abduction by a white.
Yeah. All right. Boy, that is interesting. So now we are going to compare and contrast. Finalize your votes and tallies, everybody, because we're about to give you bigger hints. We're going to compare and contrast what we expected versus what we actually got. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, before you watch the first episode of People of Earth, entitled the same thing, everything's entitled in the first episode, practically, Pilot. What did you expect?
I feel like I must have seen a trailer at some point, or I think I saw it on Hulu or something like that. I don't really remember. But I feel like I had a vague recollection of seeing something about this show before. And I when I was looking it up to watch the first episode, I saw Anna Gasteyer was in it. I saw Oscar Nunez from The Office was in it too. And so I thought, this is probably going to be pretty funny. It's probably going to be a pretty funny comedy show with funny comedy people about aliens.
Melissa, you notice how it looks like the picture behind Michael, two people are tickling his ears. And it's like,
It looks like they're fully in his ears.
yeah, poking into his brain and stuff. So
Are
Melissa,
you an experiencer, Michael?
I'm very experienced.
Gotcha.
Melissa, before you watch this episode, what did you expect?
Well, I expected to see a show that I had heard nothing about. I didn't know that it existed until this week, and then going to look it up, I was intrigued by the picture behind Michael. I was like, oh, this could be fun. So that's what I expected.
Well, all right. I guess I'll go next.
Okay.
I didn't actually expect anything. I think I just read some description that it was a sci-fi comedy on Hulu. I think that's truly all I knew about it. I didn't know the premise really, or who was in it, or anything at all. So I got to go in blind, which is a very fun experience sometimes. Sometimes you just go right in, you just go, okay, let's see what happens, except for if you're a pilot, you don't want to do that. But that's what we expected. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, what did you actually get?
I'm reading my notes because I wanted to get this right. I got a show that fell flat, mostly because of the wooden acting of the main character. I feel like a lot of their jokes didn't make me laugh. And I felt like it just seemed like the writing was bad. The acting, the direction of the actors was bad. They weren't making good choices as actors. And so, yeah, I didn't get anything much that I liked.
Melissa, you're on the hot seat.
Yeah.
What did you actually get?
By the way, this segment's called Expectations. What we expected versus what we got. Expectations. I just needed to throw that in.
Thank you.
People expect it from me.
Yeah, and they get it.
And they get it, yeah.
Go ahead, Melissa.
I got I found a show that had some amusing moments for me. So yeah, it was quirky, as I mentioned before, and mildly amusing, as I mentioned before. So maybe you were right. Maybe I was projecting, Ryan.
Nice. Okay. Well, when I made your predictions, I wasn't necessarily projecting this time. Sometimes I do, but certainly not this time, because I predicted that you guys would, like it pretty decently. What I got was a show that's the worst show I've ever seen. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that bad. See, I can write for this show. No, what I got was
that was actually funny, though.
Thank you. What I got
Ryan
was
actually made a good joke for once. Everybody, round of applause for Ryan. Husk.
So that's what it feels like. Huh. It's very rewarding.
Wow.
It feels good. It's validating. No, what I got was a show that had a very interesting premise and good ideas and a great outline with which to progress the story of the first episode. But everything else was just kind of average, wasn't terrible. I mean, since we're getting into it, Michael, girl, same. Who picked that actor or directed him? Maybe somebody. So what I was thinking was that maybe the actor might have co-written it or produced it or something like that, because I can't imagine people would say, hey, can you act in a way as if you're not acting? Like just act. Can you just pretend like you're just reading lines for us?
No, he was not. So first of all, this episode, surprisingly enough to me, after I watched it and I looked it up on IMDb, it was directed by Greg Daniels.
I know who Greg Proops is.
You don't know who Greg Daniels is, Ryan?
Mm-mm.
The creator. Oh, you just created a little show called The Office.
Oh, see, I haven't really watched much of
The U.S. Office. He worked on King of the Hill. He co-created Parks and Rec. He created Space Force. He created Upload. He's created a bunch of great shows, and he's an executive producer tied to this, but he's not the show creator. But he did direct this first episode, And so I was surprised. I was like, wait a minute, Greg Daniels directed this episode and got that terrible performance out of this guy? Like,
well, maybe what it is like, to us, we see a performance that is a little lacking, but maybe to him, he's saying, keep it dry. I like dry delivery, because The Office is kind of dry. Space Force was very dry. Maybe he just viewed it as dry acting, which I guess it could have been. But
I was gonna say, having mentioned all of those shows, I can see a theme in tone across all of those shows, and this show definitely has that tone as the other shows have, in my opinion.
But I looked up the guy who created this show, and it seems like he kind of came out of nowhere. This was like the first show that he ever created. I guess he was a playwright before that, and he had some big plays produced or something like that. So I guess that's probably how he got his start.
This could have been a play. Yeah.
And then now, well, I mean, sitcoms are kind of like plays anyway, because it's mostly character and dialogue driven. So I think like playwriting to sitcom writing is an easy transition usually.
Right. It's always very kind of like location writing too. They kind of like focus on a place, like Cheers or Jerry Seinfeld's apartment or something. Anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I was going to say this guy also is right now creating a show for HBO called Our Flag Means Death. And you know who's involved in that? You guessed it.
Frank Stallone.
Waititi.
Oh. By the way, that was a shout out for the late, great Norm Macdonald, who, when he used to do Weekend Update, he would say something like, and who could do blah, 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 blah. You guessed it.
You guessed it.
Frank Stallone.
And he'd always put up the same picture. And after Norm's passing, Patton Oswalt just posted that picture on Instagram.
That's brilliant.
And right away, I knew exactly what it was. And so, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. I didn't know that. Anyway, where were we? Sorry.
I was just saying that he's creating a show for HBO called Our Flag Means Death that's being produced and co-starring Taika Waititi. So we'll be reviewing that for sure.
Oh, boy. Oh, by the way, we forgot to mention who suggested this show for us. Let me look this person's name up. Michael and I were talking about, Dale 00745.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Dale's 00745.
We don't know who that is, but it's Dale something. So
either it's somebody who likes 007 and 45, or that's just their area code.
Yeah.
00745. Maybe they're in Delaware or something like that. Dale in Delaware. They should call it Dale-aware is his favorite joke. You know Dale.
Yeah.
Anyway. So
thanks, I guess, Dale.
Yeah. Dale Doe. So let's talk about the characters, because I like to ask a fun question that I like to call, who was your favorite character?
That's not that's just the question. That's what's the question.
No, that's what I call the question. Now that we've got the title of the question within that title is basically you tell us who your favorite character is.
Yeah, that's the same question as the title.
That wasn't a question. That was an explanation.
You should call it.
Well, at least it's
Favrecurs, or something.
At least it's not a vague or misleading title.
Right. We're nothing if not honest on this show.
Character
and I've been saying that for 3,000 episodes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Michael, who's your favorite character? It's time to play Who's Your Favorite Character?
Maybe I should make a little theme music for these different segments, huh? Yeah, I mean, I guess if I had to choose a favorite character, and I guess I do have to, I guess the one laugh that I kind of like those alien guys. They kind of made me chuckle a little bit. But the one laugh that I really got was I have to look up her name because I don't remember any of these people's names. It was like the old lady. What was her
Yeah.
name?
She says,
Margaret.
she says,
Margaret.
sex
She says,
here is
yeah.
amazing.
Wait. I was gonna say it. That was my favorite line, and that's the one line that made me laugh.
I got you.
She's
Got
talking
you
about
so
the
good.
retirement home, and she's like, "The sex is amazing." Ryan didn't even sell it like I did.
Right, because I wanted to steal your thunder. I wasn't
Yeah.
trying to sell the line. I was trying to yank it out from under
Steal
your
it from under me.
You're like,
yeah.
I only had one laugh in this entire thing, and here it comes, and I ruined it. And your
Yep.
pain makes me stronger.
Suck on it. So
Speaking of
Melissa's
which,
turn.
yeah, never mind. Not speaking of which, Melissa, who was your favorite character?
My favorite character was Margaret.
Is that the old lady?
And-
Yes, the old lady.
Yes, and I liked there's several lines of hers that made me laugh. Is when she told the one guy to get his head out of his ass, and the other line was, "The sex here is amazing,"
Yeah.
and then after 60, you just go for it.
Yeah.
So yes, she was funny.
The sex here is amazing.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that
We got a trifecta here.
I think that if I further my career of watching this episode, if I do, then I think that possibly the aliens might end up becoming my favorite characters, because it's a really funny idea to me to just kind of have them, kind of bicker and have their own little isms and, oh, that guy, he's always, I have a feeling, but we didn't quite see enough of them for that to happen. So I'd say for
Right.
now, there's the new Seth Rogen guy.
That's what I called him too, the Seth Rogen guy.
See, but you didn't steal it from me like I stole it from you. What's his name? Gerard Johnson, Jerry.
Very.
Yeah, because I can see that he is a character type that we usually like. The kind of the nice guy that kind of says he's like the best friend or the sidekick or the wacky neighbor, and he also has the most interesting story, which is, turns out he has never been abducted or he has never made an experience or whatever it's called, but he desperately wants to. And he got a job specifically next to this site so that he could. And his tiny little office, which I thought was funny, that they're in there in his office and he's got all of his stuff laid out and all that. I was like, okay, that's clever. That works. That's almost like a shiny beacon. Isn't that what the place is called? Beacon, Texas.
Beacon, New York. Yeah.
Beacon,
New York. It's almost like a shining beacon amongst kind of the rest of the show, where I was like, oh, that's funny. That's a good character. It's a fun twist. It's interesting. I like that part. I thought that was good. And the rest that I thought was good was the structure.
Yeah, he's kind of the lovable loser type.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Rico E. Anderson.
Oh, calm down. Oh, I get it.
Shout out to Rico E. Anderson, who, by the way, he's brought up the trope of the lovable loser. I think he brought it up during our review of The Office. Shout out to Greg Daniels too, again.
So now our review of The Office. If you like The Office, everybody at home, check out our review of The Office. When did we do it? I'm looking for it.
Long time ago.
Yeah, apparently I can't find it. Oh, wow. Okay. Watch the first episode, number 6. It was our 6th episode.
Wow.
Rico. Yep. So no spoilers, but check it out. Episode number 6. It aired April 27th of 2020. This is 2020.
Yeah, sure is. Oh, by the way, the show is also executive produced by Conan O'Brien.
I saw that at the end.
I think I read somewhere that the guy got a meeting with Conan and brought this show to Conan, and that's how it got produced.
Interesting. Yeah, because at the very end, when the credits were popping up, it said produced by Conoco. And I was like, oh
Conoco.
shit, that's Conan.
Coco.
So
It's
it's
Coco.
good for him. Yeah, Conoco Krispies. So
Yum.
okay, so back to work, everybody. Everybody settle in, settle. Melissa, Michael told us of his one chuckle, but surely you must have had more. Can you tell us the moments that made you laugh?
Yeah, the Margaret ones I already told you. The moment when the car is shaken and it's being abducted while they're getting busy in 1962. That gave me a chuckle. And when the main guy, Ozzy, was hypnotized and he was screaming during his hypnosis, that gave me a chuckle too.
And somebody said, okay, that's creepy or that's weird or something like that.
Yeah, that's creepy. Yeah.
Now, what about when they, yes, please continue.
And when the male lady said they're usually naked, that gave me a chuckle too. Yeah.
And by the way, I did recognize Anna Gasteyer. I was like, wait a minute, is that? Yeah, and it was. You just confirmed that for me.
It was, yeah.
I also thought it was kind of funny that they said there's dickery afoot in Beacon.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of funny. Dickery afoot. Let's see if I can find a couple laughs on my part. Because the way I tell myself there was a laugh is I put in capital letters, ha, in my notes. So
I put in capital letters, LOL.
See, but sometimes you don't actually laugh out loud, but well, maybe you do. Maybe you put it there only when you laugh out loud. Sometimes I put the ha just to let myself know this was funny. I'm not seeing any ha's, guys.
You guys, I'm not seeing any ha's.
Oh, bad news. I am not.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. I mean,
What
it was
about
kind
when
of
the reptilian guy said eat
Says
a bag
don't
of dicks or
yeah,
something?
don't get weird was kind of, oh, when Jerry said, can I be Han? Just a little glimmer.
A little smirk maybe, or
Okay, so boy, that's too bad. No ha's in this one for a ha-ha show. But what I will say was clever. I found some of it to be clever. Like they had the Greys, the Reptilians, and the Whites. Now, what was interesting about that is that those are kind of the aliens that people talk about the most in abductions. Except the Whites, I think they call them like Nordics or something like that, right?
But they do call them the Whites too.
Right, I'm sure they must, yeah, because they look Nordic. So I actually, in my notes, I put Nordic when I saw the guy. But then they said they called them the Whites. I'm like, okay, fine, call them the Whites, you know. But it's got the
it's
Greys.
played by a guy named Bjorn, so
pretty Nordic. So yeah, the
Although
Greys.
I
the
wanted him
Reptilians.
to be taller because
There's still
aren't
time.
they supposed to be 9 feet tall?
I don't know, Melissa. Why don't you tell us?
Yeah,
in your
I've never heard of
infinite
these
knowledge
Nordic
of
Whites
conspiracy theories and tinfoil hats. Go ahead.
Well, the girl who was talking about her experience with the Whites said that he was a Nordic, 9 foot tall Ryan Gosling.
albino.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
She
So
also said albino.
yeah, and he's almost that, but
He's got a little bit too much pigmentation to be an albino, but he is pretty pink. So
maybe it's just the lighting in an alien ship.
Maybe.
could be. It could wash him out.
Oh, you guys, I just came up with the most fun question ever. You are going to just tell all of your friends to watch this episode because of how exciting this question is here.
All right.
If
see.
Michael Rosenberg, after everything we've been through,
You never tell all your friends to watch these episodes, so
I only have 2 and they're both here. So Melissa's like, not really, dude. Calm down. Okay. So here's the thing. The question is, and this is a little question that I like to call, if you were one of those three aliens, which would you be? And the question is that, if you were one of those three aliens, which would you be?
Well, that can't really be a segment though, because like that's only pertinent to this episode, really. And for me, I would choose reptilian. Called it.
And why? But in the instructions of the game, it says and why.
I never read those instructions though. I just take the game out and I just throw everything else away. So
You didn't read the fine print.
no.
That's okay.
Or hear the fine print.
No, I didn't hear it.
Melissa,
Okay.
which of the three aliens would you be? And why?
Well, I would probably be one of the lizard people because they're shapeshifters and they're telepathic.
Ooh.
And they're in positions of power. So those are all my answers too. So
Yeah, and from watching too many X-Files episodes and hearing from people who may or may not be experiencers, the Greys are supposed to be really stinky. So,
Ew, what do they smell like?
well, I guess they secrete their
Like
waste
French
out
people?
of their skin,
We do
like-
that too. Humans do that.
like they pee out
French
of their
people,
skin.
French
Oh.
humans,
We just
French
like,
humans pee out of their skin.
well, we do not discuss it with outsiders.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, Worf.
Yeah.
Worf. I don't know if this is true or not. It's just rumors,
Yeah,
Well, we'll have to figure that out. We'll have to prove
we'll have
it.
to ask Fleetwood Mac. So okay,
Check on it. I did not understand that.
Fleetwood Mac rumors. No,
Okay.
I was trying to make a Ryan joke.
That was very good. No, I
Guys.
didn't get it. I'm sorry.
And I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So Ryan,
Mhm.
you can answer your own question now.
Mhm.
Okay. Well,
You're gonna
I
be a
can't-
stinky gray.
I can't tell you today, but don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
Are you gonna be
I
a stinky
will-
gray, a tall white, or are you gonna copy both me and Melissa and I?
I guess I'm gonna have to go with the tall white, which rhymes with Paul White, who is the Big Show, the wrestler, the Big Show, 7 feet tall, big guy. Anyway, so I don't know. It just seems like that one is the least ugly and gross. And so when you see, if I were one of those three aliens, and I appeared to somebody in a vision or whatever they do for kicks, I'd rather somebody see me with like reverence in their eyes. Like, what are you, like an angel? Are you like a model? But if you show up as one of the other two people, there's horror. People would be frightened and disgusted and just all kinds of stuff. But I want people to, you show up and you're like, hello. And they're like, wow, tell me things. I'd be like, I'm glad you asked. I want to tell you stories and stuff.
Well, not necessarily, because the boss wasn't ugly, and
See,
he could show up and look like whatever he wants. So I don't know why the lizard people are showing up to people in their lizard face when it would be much easier to abduct them as looking like a human. Right?
proof. There's some truth in there. But then the aliens say that they're going to invade too. So that's the big question that they leave open at the end of this episode. Like, what? The aliens are going to invade us? They're planning for an alien invasion of Earth?
Yeah.
But then also I read that this show was, after season 1, was picked up for seasons 2 and 3, but then canceled after season 2.
What? What a letdown. That's so sad. We got 2 seasons picked up and they're like, nah, dude.
Nah.
We
Just one is fine.
just pack your shit and get out. Okay.
We're done.
Melissa, it's time to get serious though. Just real quick. Were there any moments you did not like?
I don't know. I mean, there were a few annoying people that I'm just like, okay, okay.
We're talking about
They're
the
on
show,
screen.
not the review. Just to clarify.
That's what I'm talking about. The
Oh.
show,
Hey.
not the
Oh,
review.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a couple of annoying people. There's only 2 of us here, so besides
A
you.
few.
who
There's
were the
more.
F you too, buddy? Who were the annoying people on the show?
Well,
Part
like
of
the
the support group?
housewife. Yeah, like the housewife. I was like, that's
Yeah.
typical.
Yeah.
The temp
Right.
mortician receptionist was kind of like,
Yeah.
kind of stereotypical.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of stereotypes, and they didn't get into the farmer really. He was just there, and
Stereotypical farmer.
Yeah.
exactly. There's a lot of stereotypes, except for maybe the old lady and the, well, I did like the gray alien, but the old lady and the male person,
Male lady.
Well,
Male
which
lady
one was
person.
it? Okay.
yeah,
So
The
Michael,
male carrier. Male carrier.
male carrier, yes,
Ma-
that works.
Michael, did you have some things that you didn't like about this show? Be honest.
Yes. About 1 million of them. No, I mean, yeah, I mentioned it up top that the main character, his acting was wooden and terrible. Like Ryan mentioned, he just seemed like he was just reading the lines. Like Melissa mentioned, that could have been a choice by the director Greg Daniels to keep it dry, but I don't think it worked. And like, he's the majority of the first episode. It's just this guy going around interviewing people and talking to his boss, and I just didn't buy it. I mean, like, the point of being an actor is you're supposed to immerse yourself in the role so that it becomes believable and the people are watching you're thinking, oh yeah, that's a real person. But the whole time I was thinking, this is an actor delivering lines.
See, I didn't even get that much. Yeah. I think there's something to be said for playing it natural. Sometimes a director will just say, look, just play it natural. We don't want you to be a character type. We don't want you to be, super interesting or different or anything. We want you to just play it like a regular, average person. And so there's something to be said for that. Maybe that was what they were going for. But yeah, this time it didn't work, if that is the case. Because a regular person can still make interesting choices and
Right.
still deliver things in an interesting way, which is something I myself struggled with as an actor, because I've had a director tell me in the past, because I was trying to hang on to something to help my delivery as an actor. I was trying to, I was thinking, well, is this guy, does he have high anxiety? Is he sarcastic? Is he kind of douchey? Is he kind of broy? Like, what's his type? And the director just kept saying, no, just like a regular guy, just totally, take. And so that was actually the most challenging thing I ever had to do as an actor, was to remove everything that makes somebody interesting and just play that. And so it's really, but I think it ended up still working out okay, but it's not easy. And so I don't know if that's what they were trying to do. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, it was a little tough. There was nothing other than that I really didn't like. It was either stuff I did like or stuff that was like, okay, whatever, mediocre. You were going to say something, Melissa?
Well, I think that's kind of a catch-22 in that just play it like a regular guy. I mean, if you're doing your job as an actor, you're playing it as a regular person anyway. Doesn't matter what quirks they have or what they don't have. Everybody has their quirks. Everybody has their, dramatic moments and subtlety moments. So I think it's not a realistic portrayal of human beings at large if you're just asking them to be this one tone. I don't know. It's just.
So we all didn't like his performance. Agreed.
Well, I mean, I wasn't necessarily ragging on him. I think the director has because I mean, in film and television, the director has so much power over how somebody looks on film, on camera. So I think that the director has a lot of responsibility in what came across in this episode too.
Definitely.
Because he wasn't the only one who was dry and like I mentioned before, the other people that I mentioned before, that they were dry and unremarkable and pretty stereotypical.
So you thought the acting was bad across the board?
I wouldn't go that far. It's just there were a few people that I actually, connected with.
All right. Yeah. Well, boy, we were very tough, but brutally honest. And these are the things that we need to talk about if we're going to have an honest and productive review of an episode. And speaking of which,
sorry, Dale 00745.
Right. Well, maybe Dale 00745 wanted us to review this because he or she thought that the show wasn't good, or he or she thought it was mediocre. Look, it doesn't have to be a good show. You guys can suggest that
maybe they just wanted to torture us.
Yeah. If you want to suggest that we watch a terrible show just to watch us squirm for an hour, feel free. Like, if you just want to be like, all right, I want to see Ryan and Michael just squirm, and whatever poor sucker they get for that week to just squirm with them, do it. We dare you. But anyway,
we prefer to watch good shows, but
I'm fine with either. I'll poop on good shows sometimes too. So speaking of which, Melissa, let's talk about you for a moment. My goodness, suddenly you've got so many new things on your plate. Can you tell us all about all of them, please?
No pressure.
Well, where to begin? As some may know, that I am an avid participant in a video podcast called The Seventh Rule.
Yeah.
And they review episodes of Deep Space Nine. Created by Aaron Eisberg, carried the torch by Ryan T. Husk and Rock Lofton. And
Ryan T. Husk too, that's right, yeah.
But also, there's this wonderful online convention called Virtual TrekCon.
Yeah.
I am a team member of, and so are Michael Kenyon Rosenberg and Ryan T. Husk.
Heard of
them. And Virtual TrekCon has some fun new things in the works. Mm-hmm. One being a live TV on Tuesdays, a live video show,
right.
That reviews all things Trek and talks about all things Trek and sci-fi and all of that jazz. And then on Sundays are special days now.
Yes.
Because there are mini conventions every Sunday, which should be a blast. We're revisiting.
They are a blast. They're happening right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody that's watching this, there's a good chance that they're watching this as it's premiering during a Virtual Trek Con Presents Sunday Mini Cons. Please continue.
Yes, and so there'll be some new content and some revisiting of some past Virtual Trek Con stuff, and it should be it is a blast.
Live shows, stuff,
live
things.
shows, stuff, things.
And then I have some new stuff coming soon to my website, Walking Art Made by Melissa. So
Right. So Michael
Had
Kenyon
to try hard not
Rosenberg,
to do a spit take right there.
Michael's going to include all of those links in the description box below. Also check out Melissa's website, walkingartmadebymelissa.com. All kinds of good stuff, Star Trek goodies and such. You're gonna love. What is it? What did he say, George? You're gonna love the way you look. I guarantee it. Remember that guy?
Yep.
I remember the guarantee it part.
Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is it's now time to get to the bottom line. Everybody's favorite mome, the bottom line.
The bottom line, underscoring the bottom line,
AKA
bottom line.
Terrible
twos.
deuce.
She
Bottom
knows.
line.
She knows that's 2-1. 2-1, baby. 2-1. Sorry.
The bottom
deux
deuce.
terrible.
All right. It's the final two questions of this podcast. And they're really the two
Bottom
most
line.
important questions. We like to,
Two bottoms.
save the best for last.
Bottom line.
Got to do it louder, Michael. We barely heard that one.
Terrible twos.
Bottom line.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, it's the toughie. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this first episode of People of Earth entitled Pilot?
Eesh. Dale 00745, whatever your name is, I forget it.
That's it.
That was it. 00745. Dale, I hate to tell you that I'm going to give this one a 3.5.
Oh.
It was an interesting concept. Science fiction always gets a little bit of a bump, so that's why it wasn't a 0 or a 1. It was a good attempt at comedy, so that's why it gets the 0.5. But I can't give it any more than that because I only laughed one time, and I've spoke numerously about why I didn't really care for this show, but I guess other people liked it enough for it to get renewed for a second and third season. But then I guess enough people didn't like it that it got canceled after the second season.
Right.
So
Step 1 is realizing you've made a mistake. Step 2 is eliminating that mistake.
flushing it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Melissa, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this first episode?
I'm gonna say probably.
And don't let Michael harsh your gig. You fly high, stallion.
So I think I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Yeah, I mean,
It's respectable.
I didn't hate it. And I did chuckle more than one time. I can count at least 3 times. But yeah, 6.5.
Okay, my
All
turn.
right, Ryan.
You know,
All right, Ryan. For
I
the
think
worst show you've ever seen, what
I
are you
think I'm
going
gonna
to
rate
give
this. I think I'm gonna rate this show higher than it deserves, honestly, because look, as Michael would say, the bottom line is that it's comedy that didn't make me laugh. So for that reason, it should be a very, very, very low score. But I did like the premise. I thought it was interesting. I did like, the structure. I liked the way it presented the information. I liked the twist at the end. I liked like they had the right elements. very much so. It just didn't really execute. It just didn't really, but it had the bones and the structure of something that could be very good, something that Michael would give a 10 to, because it's like, it could have been a show that's right up Mike's alley and one that I would like, because, it had the ingredients, but it just didn't execute. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a very sweet and juicy 4.8.
That was very juicy.
It's like an orange. Like when you,
I feel like I need to wash my hands after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So question number 2 is the real tough one, though. For the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of People of Earth on Hulu. But now that the podcast is over and you're free to move about the internet, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, would you, of your own volition, I doubt it, watch the second episode?
Well, surprisingly and sadly, no. No. Maybe not that surprising. I was trying to pull a Ryan bait and switch, but obviously Ryan's not going to fall for that. He already knows my answer, but
yeah. But you fooled me a couple times for sure.
Did I? No.
Yeah, like the be positive.
Well, that was a true thing. That wasn't me trying to fool you, though.
But I'm saying you fooled my prediction of whether you were going to say yes or no, as in I was wrong.
But I still haven't watched the second yet. But
that's okay.
But there's the answer. Nope.
Doesn't seem like it was a tough one for you either.
Ooh.
Melissa. What about you? Of your own volition, would you watch the second?
I've been flip-flopping about this question because if I watched it, it would probably be out of kindness. Just to give them the benefit of the doubt. But if I'm gonna sit down and put it on because I want to watch the second episode, just to sit down and watch it, probably not. But yeah.
But you are a very nice person, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, I might give it the benefit of the doubt. I don't know.
Well, speaking of might, no mites in this show. It's a yes or no.
Well, I said no.
Yeah, she said no.
All right. It felt very flippy floppy.
Yes, I mean, it was flippy floppy.
She prefaced it by saying she's been flip flopping,
and I'm agreeing that she was honest with us. Okay, so that's a no. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As for me, would I watch the second? For some reason earlier, I felt like while we were reviewing it, there was something that made me consider watching the second episode, and I can't remember what that was. So I feel like I can only say no, because if I can't remember the one reason that I thought I might watch the second.
To see where the aliens would go.
Was it because it was picked up for 2 more seasons?
No, I guess it was because I'd be interested in like those alien characters, just kind of to get, because that was kind of the only thing that really felt interesting. Like I was like, oh, that's fun. I kind of want to know what's going on with those guys. But the show is like, well, you don't get to unless you watch more episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
how
can
they
you
get
just
you.
show me? I don't care about
That's
these other
how
guys.
they get you.
So, I mean, in my heart of hearts, I would have to say no. No.
Nope. I know.
But it was closer than you thought.
No, it wasn't.
I was tormented by this question. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, is that 3 no's? Let me mark that in. That's this show does not deserve that kind of negativity.
Thanks a lot, Dale.
Well, I could switch it so it's not so negative. Take one for the team.
No, you said no.
Okay. I will.
Yeah, Mike's the referee.
We're
So I
looking
guess
for
that's about it.
honesty here. Yeah.
That's about it, everybody. Stick around for more. Watch the first episodes. Instead of stick around, click around. Click on the Fallingtower button. Click subscribe. Click like. Click on the next show. Do all these things. Just click around and have a blast. And remember that if you want us to review a show, we'd love to hear your suggestions, especially if you skew sci-fi. In the comments below, WTF and a sci-fi show. Could be sci-fi comedy, could be sci-fi drama, could be sci-fi horror, could be nerdy ass sci-fi. We don't care. We love it. Usually.
Maybe you got one of those keyboards where you type like this.
Well, that would be fun.
That's like that Star Trek guy. That's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
Remember on Next Generation when he was battling Data and Stratego or whatever it was? Anyway.
Yeah.
So everybody at home, thank you so much for joining us. And what I'm trying to say. Yes?
Yep. That's what you're trying to say.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is this podcast was warm.
This podcast the sex was amazing.
This podcast was, if the car is rocking, don't come a knocking.
That was the scene that made you laugh.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, everybody. You know what to do. You remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg likes to say.
Don't forget to register to be an organ donor with Donate Life America, if you can see it. But then don't forget to, after you register to be an organ donor, make sure to watch the first of shows of things.